This is a flanker with Team Ballistic Tsunami with part 3 of my tabletop Red Dot reviews. Part 3 will be focusing on these big guys, and then check out part 2 for these micros. And then check out part 1 if you want to get my general advice on red dots. Again, these reviews are primarily focused on red dots that you can use in indoor CQB, where number 1, you need optics that actually zero, and number 2, optics that work well in low light conditions. Okay, here's one that doesn't work really well. This is a BSA Red Dot from Walmart. I bought this about 7 years ago for $30. Comes with these lens caps or lens covers that you can lose very easily. So let's start off with cons. This thing doesn't zero with airsoft guns that well, at least the ones I've used. Maybe it'll work with an AR. I never tried, but it doesn't work with my P90. It doesn't go low enough. But the problem is I have a really high height over bore where the red dot and the barrel meet. It's like a really high distance. So that could be a reason why this doesn't work that well. But I haven't used it in a long time. The reason why I'm showing this to you is, you know, a lot of people have these kind of sights, these big, bulky red dots. And these are good because it's easy to acquire targets. It's a big circle. There's nothing to obstruct your view. And it has a really good tint. So it does work well indoors. It just doesn't zero on my P90. Does it work on my AR? Maybe. The brightness settings are pretty good. It goes from 0 to 11. And as you can see, it got shot right here. So let's move on to the next one. This is a Garter Aimpoint M3 replica. Pretty sure of the name and the model. Now, I bought this for $30 used. And my teammate Archer, he really likes these sights as well. He says you can get them for 40 to 50 shipped. He's a pretty good resource. So let's start off with the cons. Well, it's a pro or a con depending on the way you look at it. This sight actually came with this mount, and this mount also comes, well, let's just stick with the mount. This mount is a flush mount, as you can see. It mounts flush on your rail. So this mount works really well with like a P90, but it doesn't work well with an AR just because you have to get really low, well, you have to get really low on your gun to look down the sight, and it just doesn't work well with mesh masks or paintball masks, and I use a mesh mask. So I had to buy this mount. I think it was like $10 from Airsoft Extreme. They're pretty generic. They're very easy to find. It works well enough. Any other cons with this sight? It is a bit bulky. It is a bit big, but it's not a deal breaker for me. So that's the brightest setting, and the lowest setting will work indoors. I usually have it on the lowest setting indoors, and as you can see, it's plenty bright enough for outdoors, and the tint is not too bad. So let's move on to pros. It came with this lens protector in the rear, which I can't take off, so that's kind of a con, but it's good. It closes. And there's a similar one out front that has a plastic shield, so it'll take a hit. I took it off just for the purposes of this review, and I actually did a long review on this. Check it out on my guns and gear review playlist on my channel if you want to see the whole thing. This is just a short review. So pros with this: very good tint on it. It works really well indoors. It's a big sight, so you can see through it really easily. Any other special features on this? That's about it. It's a pretty common sight that I've seen in airsoft. And this is probably my second favorite sight that I have in my collection. I would give this a rating of probably 8 or 9 indoor, and then 8 or 9 outdoor. Okay, last but not least, these are my Eotechs. Just to start off with, I don't like to use these indoors, just because the tint is a little stronger on these two. I believe this is a 551, and this is an XPS. I'm not an expert, okay, so cut me some slack. And both of them have these ugly lens protectors on them. They're just there to help me out. I don't want to lose them. I don't want them to get shot out. And again, I don't really use them that much anymore. So let's start off with the 551. Okay, there we go. That's the brightest setting right there. You can also turn to green, which you can't really see well on camera. There's red. Okay, this 551 I got from EB Airsoft. I think it was like 35 or 40 shipped. Really low price. One of the problems with it, yeah, let's start off with the cons. I actually had to tape the bottom because it's a little loose on my rail. Does this work? Is it like that with all of them? No. I had another EB Airsoft one that worked fine. This one just doesn't hold on that well. And I remedied that by putting tape on the bottom, and I also zip tied it to my rail. So that's another problem with Chinese clones, right? You don't know what you're getting. And then this one doesn't work that well outdoors. Does it work well indoors? Yeah, you can see it really pretty well indoors. The dot I'm referring to, but the tint is a little strong, so don't really use this one that much anymore. But it does work indoors. It's just hard to see like targets inside of dark buildings. So again, I don't use this that much. Let's move on to the XPS. Here's some supplemental information on the Eotech XPS site, which I got from KH Mountain. Now check out this box. It's got an address, phone number, made in the USA. Now, have I ever seen an Eotech box up close in this much detail? No, I haven't, not up this close. But as I'm holding it, it's made of really nice, solid cardboard. Feels really nice in my hands. And I feel that this speaks to the quality and the craftsmanship of the cloners that made this. Check out those markings. It feels really nice. Now, it is a bit heavy and it is kind of tinted for indoor use. But most airsofters are outdoor players, I understand. So this sight will work really well outdoors. And here's another interesting bit of information. I remember reading about police busting some guy for selling fake airsoft sights as real ones. And my friend confirmed this, Brent from CQB City. He was telling me he saw a Craigslist ad from a guy in California that was buying up XPS sights with markings for $200 US. My guess is the guy was selling the sights for $300, $400, maybe even more to ignorant buyers. And you know, I've seen an Eotech sight, like I've looked down the sights, and I can tell the difference between a fake one and a real one. But all I'm trying to say is these externals have probably passed off as real ones to somebody, to some poor sap out there. So again, don't do this. You know, don't sell real sights as fake ones. You can get busted by the cops. But I'm just speaking to the external quality of this sight. So on that note, let's head back to the review. Okay, this guy has a lighter tint, and I got this from let's see, KHmountain.com. I think it was like 50 shipped, 55 shipped. And when you don't have the tape on it, it's a really pretty sight. The adjustment dials are clearly marked down right. It's got the Eotech logo. It looks pretty nice. And it uses a big, I'm not sure if it's a lithium, but it's one of those CR123A batteries. So theoretically speaking, this sight should work for a long time. And it's got this QD lever, quick detach lever. Turn on the sight. Okay, it's actually on. Okay, one thing you'll notice about this is you'll actually lose the sight if you look from a top angle. See that? So the other guy didn't have it, but this one does. This is not a problem during gameplay though. And then right now, is that on the brightest setting? Yes, it's on the brightest setting. Works well outdoors, as you can see. There's green. So again, I don't use this one as much either indoors, just because the tint is a little darker on this. Will it work well outdoors? This one will work well outdoors. It is pretty bright. And I would give this a rating of probably, let's see, I want to say 6 indoors because it's a little darker. This one is probably a 5. It's a little darker as well. Outdoor use, this is probably a 5 just because it'll wash out. This one's probably like a 7, maybe 8 outdoors. Another con with this, it's very heavy. I don't know why it's so heavy. Maybe it's made of lead. Who knows? Probably some kind of cheap pot metal though. Well, thanks for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. And we also do really cool CQB action videos. There's cool kill streaks and nice editing. So this is Flanker with Team Ballistic Tsunami, out.